Hi, I'm Amanda Hardy. I am the Family and Consumer Science Agent for Henderson County. And today I'm going to talk to you about speaking for success and how to influence others in your speech. So we know that communication plays an important role in society. Now, there are 3 different types of speeches, and we're going to go into each one of those. But the first one is informative, persuasive, and then the last, ceremonial. So we will talk about each one of these. But learning to be an effective speaker means that you're going to get your audience more involved and they're going to pay more attention to you. If you get up in front of a crowd and you're not a good speaker, then you've pretty much lost all interest in whatever you're speaking about. So we're going to go into the 3 different types of speeches. The first one is informative. An informative speech means that you are there to give the information, to give exactly the facts. You're not there to give your opinion, you're there just to give out the important information. So you want to make sure that you choose a topic that the audience will find interesting. Then you want to make sure you keep it simple. You want to get right to the point, because if you don't, you're going to lose your audience. And then thirdly, you want to attempt to teach the audience rather than trying to change their minds. We're not trying to persuade them to do anything. We're not trying to change their opinion on anything. We want to strictly give the information. So the second one is persuasive. Now this is the one that we could give an opinion on. Now you want to make sure, again, you are giving the points, but you want to make sure that you have it in a persuasive way. So the way you're talking to someone, the way your behavior is, and your attitude to change their mind, if that's your point. So some of the ways you make sure to do this is to deliver your speech with passion. Know what you're talking about and how you feel about it. You don't want to be dull or unexciting. Again, you'll lose the audience. Then you want to try to find a common ground with everyone in the audience. This way you're not having any confusion, you're not having any fighting going on, that you're strictly getting their opinion. And then you want to end your speech by asking the audience to take on a specific action. So whatever you're wanting them to do, they need to follow through with it. The next one is ceremonial. Now, ceremonial is kind of like it sounds. You're actually speaking to a crowd of people, maybe at a wedding, at some kind of ceremony, at a baby shower, at a graduation. Those are some examples of a ceremonial speech. These, you're going to make sure that you're telling a story about someone or something that you're talking about. You want to be enthusiastic about it. You want to make sure that you're getting the crowd's attention. This could be a personal story that you might have with that person. So you want to make sure that you're bringing the details alive about them. And it can be a funny speech. It can be happy. Sometimes speeches can be sad in this one, but you want to make sure you, again, are getting your point across. You also want to double check your information. You don't want, on this type of speech, to give someone information that that person may not want you sharing. So any kind of personal information, make sure you double check with that person that you're going to be talking about. Be appropriate. Don't say anything that is off the record. You want to make sure that you're not telling any jokes that are not appropriate, that you're actually saying stuff that matters. So use your common sense on that type of speech. So you also want to make sure that your integrity is still there when you're talking about a speech. You want to make sure that you know you are responsible for what you say. You're responsible for how you talk daily and what comes out of your mouth. Again, you want to be that way in a speech. No name calling, anything like that. You want to make sure that you are just getting your points across and what you want to be said, heard, or said. The one thing that I hear the most about getting up in front of crowds and talking is anxiety it brings on. We get a lot of people that say that they are not, they're scared to get up in front of a crowd, or they're just not a people person. But anxiety comes when you think about having to talk in front of people. So the one thing I always think about is pretend like you're up there just talking to a few people. And don't pay attention to everybody in the crowd as you're speaking, because that can tend to make you anxious and make you nervous. Again, you want to be comfortable with your setting. You want to know where you're going to speak. If it's somewhere you've never been before, I suggest going and visiting that place first, getting your setup, knowing what it's going to look like. If you're going to someone's home, same as well if you've never been there. So you want to have visualize whatever you're going to experience. And then you want to make sure that you don't think about your speech right before you're going to talk, because a lot of times this will make you nervous. It'll make you change some wording around about your speech, and you may get up there and say things that you didn't even mean to talk about. So make sure that you are paying attention to details way before you get ready for your speech. Don't do it right before. And it's always good to be prepared. Like I said, you don't want to get up there talking about something that doesn't make any sense, and understand your topic that you're going to be talking about with your audience. Make sure you breathe. A lot of times we want to ramble and then we don't take that breath. It's okay to pause between subjects of what you're talking about and take a breath. You can always just stop, breathe, and then start back. It's okay. If you get forgetful or you forget what you're saying, this is a good way to do it. Stop, breathe. You can even ask the audience a question during that time. You want to, of course, concentrate on what you're saying, what you want to be heard again, and then always let your voice be heard. If a microphone is available and it's offered, use it. A lot of times we think that we're loud enough, but the people in the back of the room cannot hear us. So we want to make sure that you're using the appropriate voice level or using a microphone. So in summary, to be an effective public speaker is very important in what you're trying to get across to your audience. Because if you're not being a good public speaker, the audience is probably not listening to you or getting the message that you're trying to get across. So make sure that you're making some eye contact with those audience members and that you can smile and give them what they need. You want to make sure that you're shining, and this way it will help with your public speaking. Thank you.